Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise. And we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Hello and welcome to a great episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom. Another great one indeed. I'm bringing a property expert who will introduce herself momentarily. But as always, we bring life-changing business information that you can use to improve your life and to enhance the story of your life. So please, listen and watch. But in the meantime, if I can just ask you to strike that subscribe button, we really need your support. Welcome to the studio, Opelo Mophato.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Mogobe. It's a pleasure.
Yes. Property plug. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But before we do, kindly introduce yourself and share a little bit of your background.
Okay. My name is Opelo Mophato. I grew up in Silibe Pikwe, and then I proceeded my school in Francistown, and then I came to Mogobe Form 5 to finish my senior school. And then from there, I went to work for my uncle in a property company, and that is when I got to learn more about real estate. Mm-hmm. So growing up, I grew up with my dad. Most of the time, it was always my dad because my mom had moved to the village. So I believe I get the spirit of hustle and, being strong from the father figure that I've always had. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
And what did you study at uni?
I did real estate, certificate in real estate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's as far as I went.
Okay. Mm-hmm. This is at Baisa?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was doing even in school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you then have to go through any professional courses to qualify to practice as a real estate professional? Yes,
I did. I compiled very well. I did my certificate in real estate, and then later on had a mentor, of which the RIAC Institute tells us we should do that. So my mentor was Kagiso. And then from there, after my probation, I was to sit for my exams this May, but I couldn't. So I've applied for November. Mm-hmm. Yes. So my company is registered. It's licensed, it's recognized. But I practically just work for Property Plug as a probationer. Yes.
Why the name Property Plug? What inspired that name?
My friends actually. When I started doing property with my uncle, I would post so many houses, and some of them I would post like 2.5 million houses, and they would comment saying "Mama Ndlu" in Botswana, And for me, that was Property Plug. And I used to caption my pictures when I post them on Facebook. Like I have a picture that I posted in 2020, and I just wrote Property Plug. So as time went by, they were calling me Mama Ndlu, Miss Property Plug. I'm like, you know what? Why not have the name Property Plug? But before Property Plug came about, I had a business partner. So the mother name of Property Plug is Oak and Ivory. So she was Oak and I was Ivory. And then trading as Property Plug because I couldn't leave that one out. But she then later left for, greener pastures, and she said she cannot go on. But she still supports me very well. Yeah.
What really attracted you to property? You mentioned you worked with an uncle and so on. Mm-hmm. I want to hear more of what really enticed you, as it were, to get into property.
I think I'm just a lover of nice things, honestly, as a kid, because I just finished my Form 5, remember? So this was a gap year. And my uncle was like, hey, come and work for me while you're waiting for your results. So he was making money, and I was just always there like, okay, how can I help this guy grow? Because I would say he's an old man, and I wanted to bring changes to him. Like, how can I bring the new, property tactics to him? And yeah, we worked, and we then agreed that, listen, instead of you paying me 2,000 per month, because my first salary was 2,000, I was like, let's work with targets. Let me close 5 houses, and if I do that, you pay me double. And he was like, you think you can do that? I was like, yeah, let's try it. So 5,000 to me, I reached the target, by the way. And I was like, oh, so I can make 5,000. What if I sell a house? And it kept growing in me. And I ended up paying for my own school with my commissions at night, and then working for him. And then till I discovered, you know what, I can do this on my own. Yeah.
What are your favorite property types? By that I mean, which particular asset classes? We know we have industrial, we have commercial, and we have multi-residential, for instance.
I would say all of them, because I believe you meet different kind of people. For residential is your family types, and then for commercial is the business people, of which those are the people I want to associate myself with. And obviously the commissions are bigger than the residential, So I'd say my favorite would be commercial because of the money, the commission that I get. But also residential because I like engaging with people, families, get to know what they want in property. So a bit of both.
Someone may be curious as to how the system works for one to get commission. What are the guidelines? What are the laws on that?
Okay. Usually when we get a client, say maybe they're selling their house, we prepare a mandate for them. A mandate that is to say, listen, I'm giving you permission to advertise my house either on your websites or your social media platforms, right? And then we also agree to a commission, which is 5% of the selling price. We always try not to negotiate because we're trying to, uplift the regulations and not do otherwise. So for clients who like negotiating, we do negotiate sometime, but although it's not allowed, we do negotiate. It's 5%. And then after they sign to that, that is when we can put the properties on our social media platforms. And our biggest following, I believe, is TikTok. So we usually just get videos, and that's what we ask for from them. Yes.
And now you talk about REAC regulations prohibiting this. What do they say?
Well, they've never said anything, but I'm on the...
what do the regulations say? What are the guidelines?
Oh, the guidelines. It's 5% of the selling price if you're a sole mandator. And if it's a multiple agency coming together, you charge the person 7.5 years in commission.
And then the two agencies split the 7.5?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But is there a law that prohibits negotiation?
I don't think there is. I don't think there is. I believe it's your property at the end of the day. And we are real estate companies who are trying to make it. I'm not saying we go for peanuts or we just take whatever, but we negotiate to a reasonable price.
Okay.
Yes.
When you grab the advertiser, you see a lot of people marketing properties, in the hundreds. How does it happen? How do you control the market when it seems everybody can just put what they want in the advertiser? How does it work?
Do you mean control the market in terms of pricing?
Both pricing and just regulation to avoid fly-by-nights.
Okay, for pricing, I always advise my clients that, listen, you need to do evaluation because you might get cheated or you might cheat the client in terms of the pricing. So what regulates the pricing in selling of real estate, I believe, is doing a proper valuation report. And then for rentals, I would say comparables. We usually use comparables like your block 10 4-beds all-in-suite house. They'll go from probably 7.5 to 10,000 at max. And then we compare with these different locations and kind of bedrooms that we have, right? And then in terms of trying to regulate it, I would advise people to work with registered agents for them to show them where the companies are, what the probation numbers or membership numbers are, get to know more about your agent before you give them property. Yeah.
Now, the business of running a property agency or a brokerage, does it have does it have challenges? Have you experienced challenges and setbacks? And if so, are you willing to, to share some of them?
Yeah, I would say, for me, I wouldn't say it's challenges. I'd say it's disappointments. In terms of, say, maybe we have you, Mr. Mogobe, saying, listen, Opelo, I'm looking for a commercial plot to buy. I'm buying it cash, right? And when we're supposed to meet at the lawyers, it's, I've changed my mind. My wife says we can't buy it, or I found a better offer. So those are the disappointments that I go through. For challenges, I would say right now the only challenge I have is for my employees' mobility. I don't have enough cars, but they're doing good because we have about 2 cars, but I have 6 employees. So imagine all 6 want to do viewings and some of the cars are engaged. So for me, that's the only challenge that I'm facing. And obviously the competition out there with other real estate companies. Yeah.
Now, you say you have 6 employees. So are they all required to go out and view? Is the demand that substantial?
Yeah, the demand is, they are required to go out, all of them. And I always encourage them that, guys, you cannot make money sitting in the office. The money is out there. It's on the field. And this is how I made it to as far as I did. You need to get your hands dirty. Yes.
Is there a particular technique that you apply to attract potential sellers and buyers? How do you do that? And how do you go about it? Suppose you want to lure me in as a potential client. How would you go about it?
Okay, like I mentioned, our biggest following is on TikTok. And I've realized that the world is becoming digital. People are always on your YouTube, your Instagram, your TikTok mostly. So I try to be different I do short clips on your houses, and then I edit with CapCut, and then I post on TikTok. So most people are always on social media, just scrolling. And I think I get following every minute from TikTok because my videos are always growing.
How many you have now?
I haven't checked. I think right now I'm on 21, simply because I'm not that consistent.
21,000.
As in following?
Yes.
Yeah, I have 21,000 and I think 75,000 likes. Somewhere there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're doing well. Now, you the showings, you take pictures of the houses that you want to sell, or how do you do it?
For showings. As in posting on my social media. Yeah, we take pictures. We obviously visit the site, and then we take pictures, we ask questions, and then we post them on our social media platforms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where would you say the new upcoming estate agents, the ones who are just starting, are going wrong? Are there any mistakes that you yourself was doing now you learned from? And are there any mistakes that they are doing that you think that if they had your insights, they shouldn't be making?
Okay. Upcoming agents, what are they doing wrong? I think they're not aggressive enough. That's number 1. Number 2, I've realized most agents will finish their school, their degree, and then just stay home. And you'd ask them, why haven't you applied for probation? Why are you not practicing real estate? Like, you have the gold in your hand. Why are you not doing this? And for them, it's always like, I'm looking for a job. And for me, it's just job shadow, just job shadow and learn from other people what they're doing. And before you know it, these people will hire you. And sometimes you just have to observe, because that's what I did with my uncle. I observed and I learned and I tried, and it worked for me. So I believe these young people should be aggressive. Like, don't sit home and just be like, oh, I'm not getting a job, so I can't practice real estate. So for me, I just feel like they should push. You never know where your next client is coming from.
And can you define aggressive in this context? What should they be doing?
Aggressive. Okay, I'm going to give it in my own opinion. Aggressive for me is being on your toes. Like, aggressive for me is being awake, always quick to make decisions, because this is real estate. Property is moving. There's no time for you to be saying, no, I'll post this house tomorrow. I'll upload this video tomorrow. You need to do it as soon as you get the property. That's aggressive for me. Like, be aggressive, be responsive. Whatever is trending, try to be there, you know. That's aggressive for me.
Okay. Now, the Botswana property market, have you had a time to study it and to analyze it? What can you tell the viewer about the state of the market?
I'd say it's fluctual. Because before COVID...
Fluctual means?
Fluctual, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It's seasonal. It's seasonal. So before, let's say January, from January to your June right now, there are not enough sales. And towards December, that's when people start buying, you know. That's where the business it's at its peak season. I think because they're getting the bonuses from work, I don't know, or maybe they've saved a lot. But during this time, it's a bit slow. The only thing would say we're doing good right now is sales. You understand, in terms not rentals. I guess there's a difference between sales and rentals. So I'd say for now we're doing good on sales.
And what sort of properties have been sold?
Your residentials, your residential properties are more sold. Commercially, it's a bit hard, maybe because it's expensive. Yeah.
Do you ever get into turnkey projects and partnerships with the developers to sell off plan?
No, not really. But we have approached Time Project. We have approached another one that we saw by Kali Muse. I think it's called Kali Hill. They said they were selling off plan. So we are yet to do a proposal for them so that we can be able to help them as well. So we have never.
So it's a work in progress.
Yes, it's a work in progress.
Okay. So you think the property economy has a good future in Botswana, and why?
I think it does. Because most people are now realizing the value of property, especially after COVID. You know, people were being chased out of houses and they were not paying their rent, and they could see that, you know what, accommodation is a really good thing to have. It's an asset. So I believe right now people are buying a lot, and it means they have access to their names. So I believe we have a great future. Thank you to COVID that people know the importance of property now. Yeah.
Actually, speaking of COVID, I was going to ask you whether it has impacted you as a company positively or negatively, and if so, how?
I would say it has impacted me positively because I just recently opened my office, so I wasn't paying rent. That's number one. So I didn't have Mr. Mogobe saying, "Hey, you need to get out of my building. You're not paying." No, I did not have that. And I'd say it worked for me pretty well because people were staying together. A lot of people were divorcing. So what does that mean? We're selling properties because we're splitting. That means
splitting because of what? COVID?
Like when people, like this, I was saying, a lot of people during COVID were staying together, right? And in most couples, there were a lot of fights and a lot of divorce rates came about.
Really?
Yeah, so for me, it was good on my side because as they divorce, it means properties have to be disposed. And who's your agent? Property Plug. So it worked in my favor. And I know it's a bad thing to say, but most people, their properties were being auctioned, and, you know, I got the chance to sell that. Yeah. After all, it's a people's market. So if something's cheap, Botswana are always ready to get it. Yeah.
What about your clients and customers? What are the mistakes, if any, that they are doing when they get into property? Or what insights can you share to correct their views about property?
My clients, I would say, let's say you have a multi-res, right? As a client, we always encourage them to have property managers, because it's always good to engage a professional in something that you're not aware of or something you're not good at. You know, let the professionals do it for you, because most of my clients would buy properties from me. Like I only do sales. I don't do property management. I only do sales. So I'd encourage them, listen, you need to have a property manager, because these people are going to give you problems. Another client is going to say, I need plumbing problem. I have a plumbing problem. Please come fix this. And you won't have time for them. And it makes you seem as if you're a bad landlord. So I believe my clients should be ready to work with agents, and they should know the importance of having a property manager. You know, it's very good to have those kind of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they don't come cheap. What are their rates?
It's 10% of the rental price.
So it's worth it, is it?
It's very worth it because I keep your properties up to date. You know, water is paid up, rentals are paid up. If something is wrong, I ask the property manager, what's the problem? You understand? Yeah.
So what are the other lessons? What are the other things that you want to teach the market or your customers?
The lessons that I want to teach my customers, it's basically to always listen to our advice. When I give you advice on real estate, on property, you should listen to me. I'm not saying I'm always right, but I believe I'm more experienced, more exposed to the market and what's going on. Because you would have your client, you'd have a client having a 3-bedroom house in block 10, and they would say, I want to sell it for 1.8. Like, what advice, like, where did you get that advice from? Like, what inspired that pricing? You know, and these are some of the clients that don't listen because of sentimental value, right? So it's always good to go with the professional way so that you are guided and things are done the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen sometimes a client, a customer going to the bank and then maxing on a loan, and even then going for a property which doesn't cash flow. Don't you find these problems where people are doing elementary mistakes when they get into property?
I do, but I'm not exposed to them a lot. Yeah, I'm not exposed to them a lot, so I really don't have much to say on that.
Okay.
Yes.
I've seen from your performance that you're very good at getting tenants, and you've gotten tenants for us a couple of times, and you seem to be on the ball. What is your secret sauce, so to speak?
Hard work, being aggressive. It goes back to that. For me, it's hard work, and the results will speak for you. If I have a client, I'll do my follow-up up to the last. Like, most of my clients are always like, you know, I'm impressed by you. You call a lot. You do your follow-up, and most agents around don't do that. This is why they end up losing clients. They don't understand that from a client you can still get business. You understand what I mean? Like, I got you a client right now in an office. This client is probably going to be looking for people to employ, and maybe one day they might want to buy property. So it's always good to be on your A game so that these people refer people to you and they come back to you. So for me, what pushes me, what keeps me going is being aggressive.
And I see some people not taking social media seriously, but you clearly take it seriously. Yes. What was the aha moment for you? How the transition to realize the importance of social media?
When I posted my first video on TikTok, I think it was a house in block 10. I was just playing, really. I used raw music. Like, you couldn't hear what I was saying because I do voiceovers. You couldn't hear what I was saying because I was also playing music from the background and trying to make it blend, you know. But I don't know what I was doing, but I was doing it anyway. And I posted my first video. And surprisingly, I got so many calls from TikTok as compared to Facebook or Instagram. And my friend, a good friend of mine, was like, listen, the way you can improve, the way you're so good at editing these videos, I think you should change your music. Like, international people are watching. You can't have your groove music playing at the back and expect serious people to buy. So I changed it to some soothing music. Like, I try to make the videos clear, so that when you're watching it from home, you can be like, oh, I need to go see this, or you can just make a decision on that, because I've had people buying based on the decision they made just by watching the video.
Just local people?
Local people, international people, different kind of people, actually. It's really working for me. So that's when I saw the importance of social media, because most of my clients right now are from TikTok. Yeah.
Now, in terms of location where you operate, are you just focused on Gaborone and the surrounding areas?
We are focusing on Gaborone and surrounding areas. Although sometimes we get from Palape, we get from Francistown, but we try to work with other agents that is extending our brand because we do not have an office that side. So if you have a client saying, listen, I want you to sell my property in Francistown and think you can sell it when you're in Gaborone, it has to take magic or a miracle because if you don't sell it for them, you're unprofessional. You're not as fast as I thought you were. You understand? So we refer these clients to other agents in Francistown or in Palape. There's a way to say, listen, we can work with you guys. Yes.
And what about further north, Mau, Kasane, and even Khansi?
In Maui and Kasane, there's an agent that I work with, actually. Yes. Yes. So we've built a relationship, there's transparency, and we've done a couple of transactions together. So so you do sales throughout the country, just that you have strategic partners. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No, that is cool. Now, in terms of investment strategy, I've had discussions and even debates on this program as to the approach to take. Some people buy and hold strategy, long-term holders of property, such as ourselves. Some people buy and sell, also known as flipping. I'm curious as to which property strategy you think in the long term is more A, sustainable, B, profitable.
I'd say it's different. In terms of development, that is buying and selling, that's what I want to go into actually, because as you buy and sell quickly, you make your profit quickly and you grow within the business. Meaning, if you have more money, you can invest in other projects. But when you hold the property, that is you dealing with your tenants. Some tenants are not paying, and for me, I try to shy away from that. I'm not saying I'm scared of challenges, but I believe holding property. For me, I would not take that route, but it is a good thing because you have something to fall back on. Say maybe you were working and you retired, that could be your retirement plan. So I guess it differs from what people see on property. I believe I want to do development and selling because most people are looking for properties every single day to buy.
I think, am I right in saying it benefits you as an agent to have more buy and sell than buy and hold, because buy and sell is more opportunities.
Of course.
So from purely a self-interest point of view, buy and sell is better.
Buy and sell is better. Actually, that is the vision of the company of Property Plug. It's a development company that we're about to start in the next 2-3 months. We already started looking for plots, and that is the vision of the company actually. Buy and sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that over decades it's a sustainable strategy in terms of wealth building, does it?
It does not mean that. Hence why I'm saying, as you make your profits, you should invest in other businesses. Because remember, property is fluctual. You know, sometimes you build your 2 beds after buying an expensive plot, and then you'll not get the money you wanted to get, you know, and that'll be bad for your business. Hence why I'm saying you should have different kind of investments so that when it's struggling, you have ways to, you know, help it get back up. Yeah.
I find mentorship is a very important part of growth, very important part of running a business. So for you, who are your mentors?
Okay. I don't read a lot, by the way, but I listen to a lot of seminars. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of real estate shows such as Your Selling Sunsets. I listen to Ryan. He's one of the biggest international agent. I follow him because I believe they read and they wrote this book. So them being vocal is just easier for me. You understand? So for me, I would
encourage you to read, but I understand.
Yeah. I try to read, by the way. I try to read. I'm not saying I don't read. I really, really try to read because that's where you get your wisdom and your knowledge, right? So my mentors, I would say it's almost everyone around me. In my company, I've only hired people who hold degree because I only hold a certificate. That is me. I want to learn from them. I let them give me ideas. You understand? So I'm always eager to learn. I'm always eager to new opportunities. So that my mentors, I always tell them that, guys, this Property Plug is not mine alone. It's for all of us. Let us hear your thoughts. What do you have to say? You understand? And because I only hired them because I did a certificate, so I'm trying to get that.
I
wisdom.
see the
Yes.
logic.
Yeah.
Although you can also get a degree if you want.
Yeah,
But
definitely. It's
I
on the
hear where you're
pipeline.
coming from.
Yes.
And in terms of yourself mentoring, are you mentoring anyone or anybody? Do you believe in passing the knowledge yourself?
I believe I'm an inspiration to some of the youth out there because I get random messages most of the time, such as, Opelo, you inspire me, how did you make it? Because like I said, growing up, I wasn't a very bright student. I was actually, I thought I would just get married, work your 9-to-5 job and not become a business lady. So I must say it pushed me. Background pushed me to be the person I am. So most people see that as an inspiration, because I once shared a story on Facebook actually where a lot of people liked it and they shared it. So yeah, I believe I inspire a lot of people.
What was that story about?
It was how I made it to where I am right now. Yeah, because most people were always asking me, how did you do that? I'm not saying, yes, of course they didn't expect a lot from me. I was just a below average student. So it's always like, Opelo, how did you do that? So then I just thought, let me just give them a story. Let me just tell them how I did this.
And is there anything you want to share from that story that you may not have mentioned that can help someone who's out there?
I can just say, you just gotta be hungry. Being hungry is very important, because when I finished my school, I started selling breakfast. My sister can cook, and I like using people's minds. I like using people's talents, because I believe as a human being, you cannot have it all. Hence why I say I only hire people with degrees. So my sister can cook. I was like, listen, please cook for me, and then I'll sell breakfast. That's what happened. So as I was always clean, and when people are buying, they're always like, oh, no, you're so clean, you're so good at sales. And I never went home with food. That's number one. And then when my uncle called me, I was like, okay, let me go do this gap here, right? And then I learned from him. But during my lunch hour, I'll take Biltong. I used to do Biltong. And then I'll brand it my name, and I'll go to office. I'm selling. So what I have to say to them
people
is...
People
were buying. At some point, they were calling me Masokwapa, they were calling me Mama into property. Like, I've had all sorts of names, I'm a jack of all trades, So I kept pushing, and the more I was holding money, I saw the power of having money. I can do my own hair, I can take care of myself, and it was really nice to have that experience. So I would say to them, you start somewhere. I didn't start as property plug. I didn't start here. I started as selling breakfast to be my uncle's PA.
And what do you think was the trick that you used to make sure you don't go back with food? I think that's fascinating. What did you do to make sure that the food gets bought and gets finished?
Like I said, my sister is a great cook. My sister is a great cook. And obviously the taste has to be nice. That's number one. Number two, appearance is very important. It's very, very important. I used to have my hair done. I would put on an apron. It was a street kind of business, but I took it professionally. And when you take yourself seriously, people will take you seriously out there. Yeah. So I believe, because I believed in myself, most people believed in me and they bought from me. And I cracked jokes. It's not only business. Like, I would make you want to stay, and when we were chilling, it's something like, drink you, Yeah. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Communication.
Yes.
In terms of the authorities and RIAC and RIBs and people in control of the property space, what do you think they should be doing or could be doing to improve? Or is there any improvement that you could suggest?
What they could be doing, I believe they're doing everything right now, because I have nothing to complain about. I believe we're doing just good. Maybe they could just try to curb the fly-by-nights, because the reason why we can't make money right now is because fly-by-nights will negotiate let's say maybe someone is selling the house and they could potentially pay us 5%. Fly by night would find out, okay, Property Plug is selling this. Let me just approach the owner and just say, listen, I can sell this property for you and you can pay me 20,000. You understand? So if they could just curb that, like if they could just curb the fly by nights, it would work wonders in our industry. But I think they're trying.
What do you think they could do to curb them, those fly by nights?
Encourage people to go to school, encourage them the importance of going to school. Also, they should write it out there that
if you encourage a person to go to school, they'll stop selling by night.
No, when I say go to school,
fly by night.
When I say go to school, I mean, obviously, if you're a fly by night and you're selling real estate, it means you're interested, right? So I'd say that they must encourage them to go to school to do their real estate programs. And also, they must put it out there that if you're a fly by night and you're selling property, these are the consequences you might encounter. I'm not saying they should threaten them, but they should put it out there to them that, guys, should you be found doing this, you could be in such and such a trouble.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the fly by nights still work with lawyers, still work with some other agents. I mean, there's always a buyer and a seller. Do you think the other people, innocent players who work with these fly by nights, should also be punished or should somehow be warned?
I don't think they should be punished, but I think they should be warned, of which I believe React is doing that. I've seen them posting on that page, like, beware of fly-by-nights, beware of such people saying they're selling properties and you don't know where their offices are. So I believe before you get into property or buy property, do your research, find out where this property is, like, who are you before you know, because it's big transactions here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, property is obviously about wealth creation and growth. Supposing somebody has $1 million, that they want to invest, and they come to you, they say, I have 1 million here, but I have no clue what to do with it and how to start creating a property portfolio. What advice would you give them?
For me, like I said, I'm going into property development. I'd tell them to take that route because you can be strategic about it. Like you can get your 900 square meter plot in Tlokwe and then build 2 houses next to each other, just nice 2-bedroom houses, and then value them and sell it all together and make double profit. You understand? You just have to be strategic about it. And 1 million.
If you build those 2-bedroom houses, you sell them for.
Mostly they go for 750. Yeah. So that's like you getting a plot for 150,000 now because you've subdivided. You understand what I mean? Yes. So if I could, I would advise them to do that because property is selling currently, and there are more profits to just you're waiting for rentals per month. But if you want to go into rentals per month, then maybe invest on commercial properties because they bring in more money than your residentials. Yeah.
And once you've bought those 2 or sold those 2, then what? You've made your what used to be 1 million is now 1.5.
Yeah, say maybe you invested 1 million is a lot actually, 900,000 because that's how much I'm going to be using. Remember I told you I'm going into development. I've done my budget it led me to 900,000, right? So you just get your plots 250, 375 in Tlokwe, right? And then you build 2 houses, you sell it for 750, you made 1.5 million. So your profit is like 600,000. I mean, on estimated profits. So I believe that is the path they should take. Yeah.
And what do you think people are going wrong? I mean, I know of people who've been in property like forever and they have only 2 units. Where do you think people are going wrong? Where are they missing the boat in terms of growing their portfolios?
As property developers or people who are renting out houses?
Both.
As property developers, I would say property developers are people who develop and sell, right? I think they should do something different. Like we've seen your 3 beds all in suite, double garage, 7 squat at the back. We've seen that. We know that. Like give us something different. Give us different plans. Like if you go to Block 10 right now, It's like a uniform estate. Like all the houses almost look the same. You understand? And whenever you post a different house, because I've seen it with the house that I posted some time back, it was different. And I got so many calls. I think I had over 30 offers, and that was my first time ever having such a number. And I was like, I think it's because of the difference, you know. This person was different. And I believe...
what was different about that design?
It was not your all-in suite. It was 3 beds and then an open, you know, bathroom. Have you ever seen an open bathroom in a master suite? I've never seen that. That was different. You understand? And then the 2 bedrooms were sharing the common bathroom, meaning there's more space for the other bedrooms. You know, I understand they're trying to like save space, but they're eating the space when they put those in suites in every bedroom. You understand? And yeah, I just think different finishes. Your brown kitchens, we've seen that. Give us glass, give us something wow. You understand? Yeah, so I believe the developers should change that. And as for people who hold properties, for them, just be up to date with your properties. Listen to your tenants. I'm not saying, sometimes tenants can be tiring because we have difficult tenants who want this to be fixed, this to be fixed. But I'm just saying, try to be up to date with your tenants and have a good relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had any horror stories in your property career that you want to share? Really horrendous, sad stories where things didn't go well in a property deal or in a property transaction?
I've heard of people being cheated on, but I've never, because I'm always awake. Like if you tell me, listen, I want to do business with you, the first thing I would ask, where's the paper? Let us sign. I never get into a deal whereby there's nothing written, you understand? So I've heard of people saying, I was in a deal with this person and they were supposed to pay me this amount and now they're not going to be found, you understand? So for me, I've never...
So what are the steps to sort of ensure against that, to if you like, immunize yourself against those horror stories? What are the right steps to take when coming into contact with potential clients?
An agreement is always the first step. Like if you want to sell your house, or if you're an agent or you want to work with me, an agreement is always best, and then we sign it.
Is that the mandate?
Yeah, with these we can
mandate
have
agreement. Yeah,
a mandate agreement between agents or between the seller or the buyer. But mostly it's the seller who's signing, right? So for me, I always make sure that we sign a paper, we take it to the lawyer, you have your copy, I have my copy, and let's start rolling. Yes.
Because people, when there's nothing in writing, they tend to walk away from... Sometimes they tend to walk away from their commitments.
Exactly. Paper is very important. Even if it's your friend, even if it's someone who's very close to you, especially the people who are very close to you, those are the people who should sign the mandate. Yeah. I
would also suggest that you should confirm conversations whenever possible, whether it's an email or a short communication of some kind. I don't know about WhatsApp, but an email or a letter confirming what has been agreed. Don't you think that's a good idea?
I think it is a good idea. Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Certainly speaking for attorneys, it makes a lot easier for us to take those instructions. Because we know that there are prospects of success, in terms of taking court action against the person.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah. Now, I want us to talk about your future prospects. You've mentioned that you'll be going to development and things like that.
Yes.
I want you to paint the bigger picture going 10 years, 15 years, even up to 30 years down the line. What can we expect from Property Plug and from even brand Mophato? Brand Opelo Mophato.
We are a development company, like I said. That is our vision and that is our goal. So we want to develop as many houses as we can and sell and make families happy. But my biggest vision is to have an estate, like to have a property plaque estate. You know, your Beto estates, your Setloa. I want to have that someday. And I believe I'll do it, and I'll have the funds quite properly after I've built and sold as many houses as I can. So that is the vision for my company. I want to have, you know, commercial properties. I want to own a lot of property. I love real estate, and I think it's my purpose. I'm happy when I'm doing it. I'm passionate about it. So I believe as I grow with vision, my vision will grow as well. You understand? Right now, I'm in Mogobe Plaza. You understand?
Yeah.
But as I'm in Mogobe Plaza, I'm like, listen, I made it to Mogobe Plaza. I have an office here. My vision keeps growing with time. So now I want to go to iTowers. Hey, you understand? As you grow in the real estate industry or as an individual, you become you know, aware of different visions, and that is just that for me. I grow wherever I am. Yeah.
So in 20 years, how many people you think you'll be employing, and how big an estate are we looking at?
In 20 years, I'd like to have as many as I can. As many as I can, especially the youth, because I want them to know that, guys, you can make it.
Yeah.
You can make it through property, like your certificate, your degree, your diploma. You don't have to just stay home. So whenever someone is looking for a job, I'm always like, yeah, you can come. Did you do real estate? Yes, I did real estate. Yes, come. And most of the time they ask me, why don't you look at our CVs? And I'm just there like, why should I look at your CV? You told me you did real estate. That's the only thing I want to see, your certificate. But now I want to see the results. You understand? You can tell me what you can tell me, but let's see it out there. So you understand? So every time they say I'm looking for a job, I'm like, it's open. You can come work. Yeah. So if they can't, they leave. I have people who just left without telling me. Yeah.
So in other words, you put them on a commission as opposed to a salary.
Yes, and that is their motivation.
Yeah. So not even enough for them to cover disbursements going back and forth.
I'm a new company. I'm a new company, and right now I can't really say I can afford to pay them basic, and also that wouldn't be good for them. I'm teaching them how to catch the fish. Yes, I'm not teaching them to just stay in the office, because every time I get in the office, it's, guys, what are you doing in the office? The money, it's out there. You understand? And most of them have learned this, and I've heard stories from them like, you know, Opelo, you're a good teacher. Thank you for teaching me this and not giving me basic salary. And we have people doing their own things now without me having to say, no, you should do this, you should do that. You understand? Yeah.
And now in terms of real estate itself, are there any sort of projections as to the number of units or tenants or properties you intend to have looking into the future? I'm really future oriented.
I can tell. Of course, I want to have a lot of properties, right? I want to have a lot of properties in and out of Botswana. I want to have your estate that I just mentioned. I want to have commercial properties. I want to engage with business people. I want to have your industrial properties. I want to have a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm going to work so hard that I'm going to have a lot. Yes.
Okay.
That's all I
You
can
mentioned
say.
you watch podcasts and you have mentors. Are there any important lessons you've picked from those podcasts that you would want to share with us as we conclude our conversation?
Yes, from Mr. Ryan, I've learned a lot. Like Ryan Sihanti, you can search him on YouTube. I've learned that you should always follow up a client. That's your number one rule. Until the client says, listen, no, I'm not taking the house, or I found a house, that is when you can stop. As long as the door is not closed on your face, as long as nobody's telling you, listen, I'm tired because of you, you keep pushing. Like, you don't give up. Because if you give up, you might lose a client who might give you another client. You understand? So I've learned that from him. I've learned that if you're trying to get tenants for commercial spaces, don't be just posting on Facebook. Approach people physically. Go to your spa managers, go to your ShopRite managers and tell them about the properties you have. You might scoop yourself a good tenant and good commission. Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. All right. Do you have a question for me?
Yes, actually, I do. You've been asking me about my future plans and what I want to do, and for me, what you have achieved right now is my dream. You understand? I want to have it all. I want to know for you, what future plans do you have? Because you're already here.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Growth is an ongoing process. You notice that in nature, if an organism doesn't grow or doesn't find a way of improving itself, it sort of declines.
Yeah.
So we have specific plans. We are now finishing the warehouses in Guayapiri. We want to put up multi-story, residential apartments and block in extension 10. From there, we want to set up an estate. Funny enough, up in Ruele Farm, and then in addition to that, we have a large chunk of space here in the CBD, where we already have plans to put up a 20-story building. So on the real estate side, there's plenty is going on. We want to put up something this very year in Kanye, and we're busy with that. So there's a lot of real estate activity going on. But on the podcast side, obviously, we want to get to in excess of 100,000 subscribers and to grow it. And then we want the podcast to support the speaking side of business, where we speak to audiences, we enthuse, we energize, we encourage, and I actually speak to various audiences. I have an invitation to go to Zambia, for instance, and then I'll travel to other parts of the world and share the message and encourage people to grow in terms of entrepreneurship, real estate, and business in general. So we have really an unlimited dream. So we encourage even our guests and our mentees to be limitless in their scope, in their thinking, and who knows, even when we reach those mountains and those milestones, there'll be even taller and bigger mountains to climb, as Nelson Mandela famously said. You get to the top of the mountain, you realize that there's more to accomplish. I hope I've answered the question. You have answered my question. Yeah. In the meantime, we're still also developing other businesses, and we're involved on the Angel Network side. We're helping young businesses, startup businesses, to grow, put in seed capital, offering mentorship and things like that. So we're very excited about the future.
I'm curious to find out what's going on in your mind. Before we started this podcast, you said you were about to publish a book. So instead of me just watching you, maybe I should read, because I have a lot of questions for you. I guess I'll get that from the book.
You'll get them from the book.
Yes,
we plan to publish in a month or two.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Look at that camera, madam, and just wrap up final message for the viewer.
Okay. What I can say to the viewers is that wait. This can be cut, right?
Yeah.
When you say to the viewer, what am I supposed to say? Like,
anything
how can
you
I
want.
encourage them?
Anything that comes to your heart.
Okay, to the viewers out there, because I know it's mostly the youngsters who are trying to get into real estate. Guys, you can make it. It's not easy, but you just have to be hungry. You just have to understand your vision, why you're doing that, and just follow suit with it. Also, don't forget to love what you're doing, because passion just fuels results, So to them, I'll just say, keep pushing, and don't just stay home with your certificate. Call us at Property Plug, and we can find a way to help you. And as for the sellers and the ones looking for the houses, where I'm in Mogobe Plaza, second floor, please do come and check on us. Yes.
Okay. Could you give them all your contact details, even on social media?
Yes.
And even the physical address, unit, wherever you are.
Okay. On Facebook, we are Property Plug. On Instagram, we are Property Plug. On TikTok, it's Opelo the Realtor. But if you search Property Plug, it'll still pop up. And then we're also on Property 24, the international website. You can just search Property Plug and you'll find us there. And contacts to call, 7672-4897. Or you can email us at propertyplug.bw@gmail.com.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. No WhatsApp number?
My WhatsApp number is 76724897.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You've been a great guest.
Thanks.
Mm.